You're listening to the Permaculture Podcast. I'm Scott Mann. Today's episode is an update about the future of the show. Stepping away to focus on my health, I'm going into this with no plan for what will happen to the podcast when I get through this. Part of what got me to this point, where I have to take a break, comes from not centering my well-being. Creating the show and connecting with you has been my passion for so long. I didn't want to slow down. I don't want to slow down. I don't want to stop. Not then, not now, not ever. Yet I find myself at a point where I have to take time off if I ever want to do this again. I don't know how long this recovery will take. A month and a half in, there are still a lot of moving parts that my family and I continue to navigate, as my doctor continues to add new tests and appointments to my calendar. For now, I'm preparing to be away from production of the show through at least the end of 2024. But away from the show doesn't mean gone entirely. During this time, you'll still be able to email me, show@thepermaculturepodcast.com, give me a call, 717-827-6266, or use the contact form at thepermaculturepodcast.com to get in touch with me if you want to reach out or have questions, or there's some way that I can help you on your journey. Throughout this time, you'll still see episodes appearing on iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, or wherever you get the show, as I float episodes from the archives to the top of the schedule to keep the Permaculture Podcast fresh with those podcasting apps and other services while I'm away. For those of you who have been listening to the show for a while, I'm going to include replay in those titles to indicate that it is an archived episode. If you want to skip it, though you may still be interested because some of these shows are no longer on the various apps as they go back deep into the history and archives of the show. If for some reason you see an episode that doesn't have replay in the title moving forward, that represents a newly released episode. I don't imagine that there's going to be any of those for a while with this long break, but just in case I'm in a place that I sit down behind the mic and release something, that's a way to know that something is truly new. If, for any reason, I need to extend this break, I'll let you know. I'll release an episode at that time with an idea of what the continuation plan will look like. With all that said, I want to ensure that the archives of the podcast remain available as a resource to the community for as long as possible. To support that goal and this time away, I have a GoFundMe to raise the funds to keep the show available in more or less its current form through the end of 2024. Thanks to everyone who has donated so far, we're less than $300 away from reaching that goal. You can find more about the campaign, donate, and read updates by visiting bit.ly/liver2024. If you visit that link and we've reached the goal, you can still use that GoFundMe to donate. I'll use anything above that amount to keep the show going and to assist with my healthcare needs. Patrons, I'm also leaving Patreon and the other subscriptions open for now until I know what the future of the podcast will be. You can continue to support the show using those methods, and I'd really appreciate it, but also understand if you cancel those subscriptions until I return. Wherever you go and whatever you do to build a better world, as I said, I'm here to help you to the best of my ability, wherever you are on the path and in whatever direction you may find yourself heading. Again, feel free to email me, show@thepermaculturepodcast.com. Call me, 717-827-6266. And if you like, you can also send me a letter or package in the mail. That address is The Permaculture Podcast, P.O. Box 2509, Falls Church, Virginia, 22042. I look forward to when we'll meet again, whenever that is. So until then, spend each day taking care of Earth, yourself, and each other.